Hello everyone and welcome back to Contentholic. It's hard to explain your study gap, isn't it? Keeping yourself motivated in that period can be quite challenging. If you are going to a university abroad, you need to give valid reasons for your study gap. Well-developed countries like Canada ask the students to write the year gap in their study permit SOPs. A study gap could be taken by the student because of the family emergency, for gaining some professional experience, some competitive exam, or some other reason. If you want to solve your gap issue and get a confirmed yes on Canadian student visa, then you need to mention a solid gratifying reason for your study gap in your Canadian visa statement of purpose. Also, make sure to provide documents to support your reasons. You could either hire a counselor to help you with the SOP and the documents simultaneously, or otherwise you need to understand how to provide a valid explanation for your case accordingly in your SOP. See, along with other factors like finances, family ties, intent to return back to your homeland, and purpose of visit, you also need to put elaborative reasons for your study gap. Now let's get into some details now. One of the reasons for your study gap could be the job or an internship. There are plenty of students who prefer to increase their practical prospect after completing their course. Having professional experience added to your resume or SOP will definitely highlight your candidature. Going for some higher course will highly appreciate it. You can justify your case by providing your salary slips or offer letter, or in the case of the internship, you could also show your experience letter. One's critical health condition could be the reason why one hasn't able to continue higher studies. The visa authorities appreciate honesty. They want you to put up honestly all about yourself. While talking about your health issues in your visa SOP, you could mention the prior history of your health. To make your statement impactful, you can assist it with the required documents, which would be the doctor's prescription, medical test results, or any medical certificate issued by the doctor. Preparing for a competitive exam is something that needs your entire dedication to succeed. In such a case, if a student who is willing to pursue some higher course won't be able to put his or her focus on either side. This is a complex situation because you have no sturdy proofs apart from your results to validate the situation. Here you need to put the situation in your SOP in convincing words to make the visa officer settle for your case. Sometimes students tend to reappear in their exams to score better to get easy admissions to their dream colleges. Due to this, students tend to have a tedious study schedule, and they might take a gap of a year or two to finally get the desired results. Here they need to ask their study advisors for all the adequate requirements to prove their case. Along with that, the visa SOP expert could be a guided help for your SOP application approval. Sometimes the cause for a student's study gap might be a family urgency. A family issue might be the most unanswerable cause, but if you consult a visa SOP expert, he will let you present your study gap in the finest way possible. Also, you could talk to your study advisor for the better management of the situation. You can also cover a gap of 1 to 1.5 years by simply stating that you were preparing for some languages or other related study abroad exams. For example, you were preparing for IELTS, TOEFL, GMAT, GRE, which requires good 2 to 6 months of time, and this can be a good justification to cover the gap of 12 to 18 months. Preparing documents, transcripts, and arranging funds may also take time, which is quite reasonable to cover up to 18 months of gap. And there could be any other reasons which has led you to take the study gap. When you are not sure of how to handle the situation by yourself, consulting an SOP expert for your Canadian study visa is the best decision, believe me on this. See, what is the maximum limit allowed for a Canadian study visa with the gap? This is the important question here, which must be there in your mind right now. Most of the Western countries believe that there is no age to have education, and thus you can apply for any course or program without worrying about the study gap. All you have to do is to prepare for a proper explanation that why you need to study at this point of time in your career. We get a lot of queries wherein the students ask us such questions. For example, the questions like, what would be the prescribed limit for the Canadian university? Is 10 years study gap accepted by the Canadian universities? Is it the same for every college or the university in the Canada? A student applying for a Canadian university after a long gap wants to get acknowledged with the answers to these common queries. Just like any other aspect of the abroad admission, dealing with a study gap is also a tedious task in terms of providing a proper justification. If you are able to explain your intent and future plans after the course, then you can easily get accepted and apply for Canadian study permit. We have successfully handled the case where we have written visa SOP for candidates with up to 21 years of study gap, and visa was granted. We have cases between 0 to 21 years of gap and with different backgrounds and courses. Here at Contentholic, we have an expertise of 12 years dealing with every kind of visa SOP or SOPs in general. We are the best known help for the visa SOP writing in India. From dealing with each profile adequately to delivering them on time, we have mastered it all. For any query, you could contact us through our mail ID or call us at our given number. Thank you so much for watching.